Welcome to Home Farm. When you move to the countryside, there are quite a lot of adjustments that you have to make. While we have mains water, we do not have mains sewage. So today's video is on the dirty subject of septic tanks. All of the pipes in our house, from the toilets and the sinks, all run underneath our driveway to our septic tank, which is located and conveniently hidden behind this patch of bushes. As we approach, you will start to hear a slight hum coming from our septic tank. That hum comes from that pump over there. The system that the previous owners had put into this house is called an aerobic septic tank, and it utilizes oxygen to break down all the waste that comes through from our house. The thing with septic tanks is that there is a pretty steep learning curve. So for example, in the city you can just about flush anything or run stuff down the sinks. That doesn't work in the countryside. For example, we don't deep fry because that leaves a lot of residual oil for us to deal with when we can't just pour that into our septic tank. People in the cities do, and that's ultimately what leads to those fatbergs that we've seen in London. We also obviously can't be flushing things like wet wipes or anything else that degrades or doesn't degrade properly. And because we're so reliant on the bacteria doing its work, we also can't be putting too much bleach or other things like that into the system that would ultimately kill them. So we do use a lot of natural cleaning agents, and my wife also makes a lot of her own cleaning products so that they are all natural and they don't mess too much with the bacteria system that we have in our septic tank. Before we take a look inside our septic tank, I'm going to show you schematically just exactly what happens inside this tank. What happens in our system is that all wastewater from the house enters the tank. When we pop the lid, you will see that there's a catchment area for things like toilet paper and other materials. And as part of that particular chamber, you will also see a lot of air bubbles coming up. What these air bubbles do is that they are there to physically break down the solid matter, and it makes a mixed liquor of all the stuff that's actually in the system. As the oxygen and the bubbles continue to do their work, the effluent and the sludge begin to separate. This forms a clear effluent that passes through the scum baffle and makes its way out of the tank. I will show you where that water ends up shortly. This is a simple and effective way of treating our sewage, provided that the pump continues to work, and I'll get onto that in a short while too. Now that I've briefly explained how our septic tank works, I'm going to pop this lid and we'll have a look inside. If you're in any way squeamish, please look away now. So located to the left is, you can see all the big air bubbles coming through. That's what's breaking all of the waste matter up. That first compartment there catches all things like toilet roll and other bits and pieces that come through from the sinks and the toilets. That gets broken down over time. And that to the right is the solid matter. All the clean water comes through the middle, and it basically runs through a pipe that runs down our field towards our pond. We had one instance last year where the pump on the septic tank stopped working. There are two diaphragms located on the pump and one of them gave way. As a result, it wasn't introducing oxygen into the septic tank, and as a result, all of the waste that was coming into it wasn't being broken down. And over the course of a few days, we did start getting some septic tank smells coming back into the house. We were able to rectify the situation quite quickly, and it took about another 2 or 3 days from that point for the smells to completely dissipate. So it's worth coming out every couple of days, as I do, just to make sure that you can hear it working, and opening the tank occasionally just to make sure that the bubbles are coursing through the tank itself. So the septic tank is above us. As I mentioned, all the clean water that is produced from the septic tank runs through a pipe underneath this field, underneath where I am now, and it runs through to the bottom and feeds into the pond. That water is completely clean, it's pristine, and it just goes to show that when the tank is operating perfectly, it is a very, very efficient system. So I hope that's given you some good insights into the workings of our aerobic septic tank. If you enjoyed this video, please hit the subscribe button below, and I hope to see you soon. Bye-bye. Thanks for watching. You can also follow us on Twitter or check out our website at myhomefarm.co.uk. If you enjoyed this video, please hit the subscribe button below, and if you have any suggestions for any other videos you would like to see, please leave a comment. We hope to see you on our next video.